So this video is going to show you how to make a Viking shield cheaply, probably for less than $50. This is one that I've done before. I've just got a few that I've done over the last few years. So I'm going to try and make one like that in like maybe 4 or 5 sort of quite simple steps. Step 1, get yourself a piece of plywood. This is a big piece that I got for about 30 New Zealand dollars in just a local hardware shop. So the next stage is to try and draw a big circle on this board for your shield shape. What I'm going to do is I've got a bit of wire, but you can use string or whatever, and a pen. So I'm going to nail this into the board. And I found this is the best way of getting a nice circle. So get this quite taut and draw your circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. And also, we need to draw a smaller circle in the centre of the shield, and this is where the shield boss will go later on. So we use jigsaw. I'm going to cut this out the jigsaw. Use the jigsaw to cut this little piece out, and the boss will go on top of there. You probably don't need to touch too much of this, but I've just got a jigsaw out the shield shape now. Shield out using a traditional Viking electric jigsaw method. There we go, shield's done, and this is the hole for the boss. So the next bit is probably the most exciting bit. You can either design your own design for the shield, or you can be lazy like me, go on the internet and find a cool design. I found one, and what I've got to do is I've got to keep the shield wooden, so I'm not going to paint the actual main part of the shield, but I'm going to try and age it, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. And then we've got to paint a design over that. Now I've got to stain the wood. I've got to use some wood stain that I've got, but you can use just any type of stain if you even want to stain it. This is just an optional thing. I've just got to get it to look a bit more, a bit older, a bit more beat up, a bit less like plywood. So my son made me this stencil last night, and I've got to just draw around it with magic marker 4 times. And create sort of that interlocking sort of Nordic thing. So I've traced, this has got to be the rough pattern, and I've got to do that 4 times. Probably paint then inside the lines. Yeah, and that's the finished design. I've just used a Sharpie magic marker to draw it on. Right, so the next stage is got to be long and boring, and I'm just going to paint in all these symbol things. I'm just using cheap acrylic paint. So I finished the first quarter. It takes about 20 minutes, half an hour. So I've run out of patience now, so I'll have a break and do the rest in a bit. So this is the main emblem painted on. It took probably about an hour and a half for painting, but it's done now. So the next thing I'll do is the shield boss. So shield boss is like the dome thing that you get in the centre of these shields. This is an old one, and this is like the cheapest way of doing it. This thing here is just a plastic bowl that I painted silver. So that's the fastest way of doing it. It's like about $1. You can buy them, but they're about $40. But I'm going to make my own. Alright, so I'm just got to put a handle on the back of the shield. I just found a bit of scrappy wood. And I've just got to screw it onto the back, underneath where the boss is going to go. Alright, so now I can hold it up. The boss has got to go over here, and this is what it looks like from the back. So, like I said before, there are a few options for the shield boss. You can buy them, they're about $40, but they're really nice. you can do what I've always done, which is just paint a bowl silver so they look metal, just stick it in. That'll be your best budget option. But I'm going to try and make one. And I think this is how they used to do, the Vikings used to do it. So I've got a sheet of aluminium, which I've cut out of one of my big sheets, and a ball end hammer. So what I do, I've got this stump, and I have this, a hole that I've made in the stump. I put the aluminium down, and I just spend quite a long time and I keep doing that basically until the aluminium contours itself to the stump. So it might take me half an hour, so I'll get on with that. You can sort of see now that the shape of the hollow coming through. So I'll just keep doing this until it's nice. So this is more or less done. I've split the metal a bit there. I hit it a bit too hard, but it's very lumpy. So what I'll do now is I'll take 2 hammers and I'll try to knock these lumps out. So I put a hammer in the vise, and then I'll lay the bottom top, and I just gently start to knock out the dents. So I bashed it out. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So I'm going to try and rivet this on the shield now, and we'll see. It's about maybe. So I'll try. I don't know if the rivets will work, but that's what I'm going to try to do. So just got a big rivet, big long head, and we'll see if this holds it on. Alright, so it's riveted, but now I've got a cheat, and I've got to put some of these little rubber bumpers over the rivets, because these look more like sort of a Viking type rivet. It's a cheat. But I'll stick them on, and then what I'll do is I'll paint these silver at some point. And these are hiding the modern rivets. Right, they're the fake rivets, and this is what we've got so far.
Shield wall!
So the easiest way to do a rim around one of these shields is probably just like glue, like leather or some fabric around, and then maybe use upholstery pins to attach it. That's the easiest and the cheapest way. I'm going to do it a slightly different way today. I've got these air snippers. These are used for cutting aluminium. They're attached to my compressor. I'll just press it. They're like little nibblers. And I'm going to cut out strips of aluminium, and then just use the hammer and batter them around the edges and affix them. So I've finished putting up most of the aluminium pieces around the shield for the rim. I'll just show you how I do that. Probably use about 10 of these. I crisscross them over, and my first thing is I just press them down with my fingers over the wooden edge of the shield and get them roughly in the right shape. So you have to be, it's pretty hard to do, but you don't have to be super strong to be able to do it. So get them roughly right, like that. Then I look at where they cross over the joint, tap them down a bit just on this part, and I'm going to screw these two pieces together here. Oh. So it's a bit messy at the minute. Right, just get through the aluminium, touch the wood. And I'm using just some little screws, just fasten it together. So just put that in there. Right, it's nice and tight. So before I look at this new piece, I just briefly go back to the old one and I just start bashing it down roughly. I'll do this later properly, but this is just to get it roughly right. And then I start on the rim of the shield, tapping the aluminium round, bashing it down roughly. It's not pretty. And that's another piece added, and I'll just put the last bit on, and I'll just do that continuously till it's done. Right, so that's it. I finished. It's been like a real fun couple of days project. You could definitely do it in a day. If you've got a bit of scrap wood knocking around, you could do this for virtually nothing. It only cost me money because I bought the wood and the aluminium, but I'm done. I've got a Viking shield. There's only a few things left to do now. Pick up the shield, pick up the mighty Molyneux, and scream shield wall in a scary way. Are you ready? Shield wall!